Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. I'm very, very glad to be back. Thank you guys for keeping the room going and making a lot of money while I was gone. Quick reminder, this webinar will be out on YouTube. It will be for the weekly outlook, and I hope all of you can share it because you are going to help somebody notice it who is struggling and who needs the help. And, if you're making money here, help someone else make the money too, right? So you can see the way we structured the group, you can make money even if I'm not here, and even if any one of the giving traders are not here. We have so many good traders that can run the room. Thanks to all of them, keeping it going. There will never be a shortage of really experienced, successful traders to run this room. Never will be, because you guys are here and every day we're getting a new and a better trader who is just start seeing that, because I'm getting some messages, and I'm sorry if I didn't answer your message while I was gone, because we had internet, but it was very, very poor internet. And for some reason, I get tired of watching the internet when it's too slow. I just realized while I was there, like I was born when there was no internet, right? I live with no internet. I live with no cell phone. I lived in the age when you didn't have those stuff, right? And I lived in the dial-up age of internet when you had to dial up, and you were very happy about it. Hey, you have internet, you dial up and you get internet. And now if the internet is slow, a little slow, you get tired with it, right? So we get used to good things. We get used to things and we treat them as normal. And anything beyond that, we kind of refuse to accept, right? We think, well, it shouldn't be worse than the last time was, right? It has to be better than that. And the analogy is my group. It always gets better. We don't go for less. We only go for better. Anything we do in the group makes it better than it is. I think you guys here and the way it's running is the proof of that it is just getting better from where it was 5 years ago or 4 years ago or 3 years ago. It is much better. And 3 years from now, I'm absolutely sure it's going to be better than it is today, which means it's going to be so great that you're happy you're here. And I'm pretty sure those who are watching this video might want to say, well, this is an ad he's pushing out. Treat it how you want. I'm very happy with the group I have right now. So if you don't want to join it, it's okay. But if you do want to join it, you know how to get to us. Anyway, let's go. Let's start. So yeah, I was telling you guys about it. The place is amazing. If ever any one of you you're to visit Russia, make sure you check those. It's called the Golden Circle. Stas is here. He's going to help you guys with that. I think it's five of those cities there, and I visited a few of them. So we went to one of them this time. And when you go, those are preserved cities, which means you can't build anything out of shape in there. You can't build high-rise buildings and all of that. Even if you're building some buildings, you can't even touch. You have to reconstruct or something only. And they have some very, very, very old churches and all of that, right? The history is amazing. We happened to fall there in the period when they were doing something they call a yarmarka. I don't know what will be the English for that, but it's where they have these big kind of a carnival thing, but not carnival. That would be the wrong word. I don't know what's the exact word in English. Where it's like an exhibition thing where people would just get together and thing. And they had, this one was specifically about Ritzer in English would be, now I'm going to get problems trying to explain. I know what is in English, like fight between, different tribes, ancient tribes, basically. So it was very interesting. They will dress up in the different tribes in that age, and the outfit fits the age. Everything is, and it's real. They with real swords and everything. They're dressed up. They're well padded up and all of that. They had ambulance there, police there, everything waiting just in case anything. A few people got some hurt, but not like serious hurt. They don't really get. They're protected, and they have some rules. I think the swords are not really sharp, so they can't cut. But these are real, authentic old swords from the age that they're fighting in. These are guys who study the history. They know this stuff. They know what they're doing. They've been following this for years. They do this every year. They do it to different places. They have clubs like that you can join. And I learned all of that there on that day, right? The history of all of this and how this, they'll enact these fights every year, 2-3 times a year, sometimes at different cities in these old places. So it's amazing. And that was just accidental that we managed to, be there at that time. We just went for the fun, it was good. So thank you guys for keeping the room going. I had fun. I didn't even check the internet. Sorry for that. I literally didn't, because it was the first day I checked and it wasn't good. I was like, okay, just close it down and have fun. So thank you for keeping it going. Let's go. Let me start. Dollar index. Most of what you see in the chart is pretty old because I wasn't here for like 4 days. So we're going to have to relook at them. I realized we were looking at this flag, I think that is, but then it made a bigger one. By rule, we know once it does that, you're going to be buying, which is good. Again, let's see. So we would have to look at this as all the consolidation, right? Remember, we said we don't know if that's going to be all the consolidation. I wouldn't really put it as a running flat here because this one seems too much of a consolidation to be the running flat. So I'll take them separate. I'll put that separate, then we'll put this separate. What we would look for is if in the future one of this happen. If not, we can always go back to this one, right? Okay, that would make more sense than put it with this one here. Although it pretty much fits except for a lot of consolidation. So let's see what we have. If we do have this coming, breaking the top, right? And then pulling back very strong and then go again, we would do that. We'll put it like this. So let's wait to see if we get that in the future. For now, it's a buy setup. And once it breaks out of this and starts to go, we're looking for a break of the top, which means at least there's one more buy to go. Right? I don't think this would become a really big consolidation. The only thing changes this is if this whole thing becomes a really big consolidation. With this going up so sharp, that is unlikely, right? Because it means that if you go that sharp, it might be the impulse starting like this, right? So any flag, any correction, it's a buy. We're starting to make another one here. So there were smaller flags here. You could have bought in. This would have been a break even. And if you get another one here, that would be a buy setup. So this one is going to be bigger than these two, right? This one is going to be bigger, which means it could be something like this. So you could expect this to come back here, make a much bigger one, and then go. Which means I don't think we should consider it sellers yet. If you're very aggressive, you can, because you're assuming it's going to be a bigger correction, right? If we assume that this is going to be a bigger correction, right? Even something like this, then what you would assume is you're making the first impulse down. If you're wrong about that, you'll have to get out for break even. So if this just happens to come here and go back up, you'd have to get out for break even, but I doubt it's going to just be this. It's going to be more than that because you have a series of smaller ones here, right? Which means that you start to get a bigger one and then you go. So on the sell side, that is for the aggressive traders. It's possible if it drops now, if it goes back up higher, well, you're not going to be selling that, right? You look for a buy setup. Would I look at this as a possible running flat? I would have if we were not going up so slow here, right? I would have probably go with a running flat here before this happened. But when that happened, I assume that this is just a smaller version of it and this is going, right? The nature of the market is that it's such that it's fractal, which means smaller pieces fits in to make a bigger one. But each smaller one can individually be a correction of its own, right? Or a pattern of its own. But we know that all these patterns combine. If you take a weekly chart, all you're going to have is one single pattern, right? If you look at a weekly chart, you're just going to see one or two patterns inside, but the bigger structure would be a single pattern at any given time. I think this was one of the things most wave analysis traders are missing, is that the entire chart in its full entirety will only be a single pattern. It's not going to be a lot of it in it. It's going to be one single big pattern. We've seen it, right? And on the daily, same thing. You can have a series of not too big, but 3 or 4 patterns that will fit into the weekly patterns. So because of that, you can always say, well, if you combine a few, would it make one? Or should you take each of those separate? And that is why, in this case, we could have looked at this separate, but we can also look at it as a part of a bigger one if it becomes a bigger, long drawn-out running flat. Let's assume this comes back here and it goes back up. All of this could become a bigger, long drawn-out running flat. We don't know that. It could become a channel in the future, right? We don't know that. So if you're going to take the risk in this, if you're a wave analysis trader, and you guys are pretty good at it already, you would know that all these possibilities exist. And I think the basis of this knowledge is knowing all the possibilities, knowing how the structure will change, right? And that is the advantage, because if you know that, with that knowledge, you can definitely, you can trade and you can watch it and you can take any possible setups you have and said, well, okay, well, if this doesn't go and it turns into this, I have to either take a small loss or a break even. But if it drops, if this is going to be a bigger correction, you might get a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 trade that drops like this and then start going back up and then come back here, give you a bigger flat and then go. Can it possibly do that? Go back on the 4-hour and see if that is possible. You go back here and you said, well, yes, that is possible. We could either retrace this whole thing. We could either retrace this piece, make one like this, and go. We could be retracing this whole piece, make one like this and go. And then you get a big flat in here. And then we would look at all of this as a bigger correction. So all of those are possibilities that exist. Knowing that is what is important. And that's what we teach here every day, right? So dollar index, the trade setup at the top there is a good idea for the sell, short term. If it goes up any higher, don't do it. We'll wait for it to complete itself. We'll wait for this to, do what it has to do there. Come back here, give us a flat, and then we'll look for the buy setup. Let's go. Okay, so this sell was a good idea. The buy was a break even if you took it. 1, 2, 3, right? Drop. The sell was a good idea. If you close, you re-enter. You got another trade. You can look for another one here. We are definitely going to go break the low now. We'd assume that this is it. And the reason we took that one is we're assuming it's going to come to break this low, which means we're still going down. And that means there's more downside to this. You kind of have one here. We can make an argument for a small running flat here. But at the same time, I'll wait for, if we think dollar index is going to make a bigger one, let's wait for a bigger consolidation. If you put an entry here and it's not going, which means the tags will stay here, try to get out for break even, wait for the bigger consolidation and then the drop. So I'll put it as waiting for a sell setup. We're waiting for a flag to go with, right? Gold. Gold, the sell, you guys should have taken the sell. We spoke about that. You would have closed, you would have re-entered in this one. You can close, re-enter in that one and wait for another one to re-enter again. All right, so we're waiting for another sell setup. We weren't expecting gold to come and break the low. I think we were expecting mostly silver to come and break the low. Because gold, I don't think they should come and break the low. We already tagged the low here. So there's no necessity of breaking the low. It can break the low, but we're not expecting that. So if you sell gold here, just be careful that this might not go break the low. This could still stop anywhere here, go back up there, come here, and then go take off to the upside. So I would say this is the first impulse within a bigger consolidation. And the reason we were selling this when I left was because of this one. And we said, well, if they're retracing this, the first impulse could come here, go back up, come down here, and then go, which is something, similar to a big correction like this. I think we're still working on that one and we're still in the first impulse. So any sell here now is valid, but it's dangerous, which means it's higher risk, right? And I think we can already see the divergence showing us that the momentum is dying out. So if you're going to sell gold at this level, and there was a sell this morning, actually, there was a sell here. You have to get it to break even. So you put your stop here and then you move. Well, the stop would have been here. You move it to that level once you break out and you wait for this to pull back a little, drop, put it to break even and see how far it goes. If it pulls back, correct, close the trade, right? It will pull back. Sometimes they do drop far. If it drops far enough, take the profit because it's not, I don't think this will go break the low. We'll see. Maybe it will, but the bigger structure is not giving us that indication as yet. So this one would be a sell setup if you get a flag as well, but with caution. So yeah, there's a sell setup here. There was a kind of a flat here. If you see this, it kind of made a flat here. If you wanted to sell it, I think we should sell this because we're expecting, if this is a contracting flat on the 4-hour, so running flat. So if that is a running flat there, then we're taking off to the downside. So you could have sold it there. This was a good sell that you can actually keep. This one, I hope you guys took it because we were watching this very carefully, waiting. You got a flag there. We were putting the entry here, right? If it gets this drop, but you had a flag there that formed, which is good. That means the entry would have been here and you're looking for this one. That's on the 4-hour. So the 1-hour could have been a better entry. Let's see in the 1-hour if we had a better entry. And not really. It would have still been the same entry here, right? You still would have got an entry there, which means any flag from now would be a sell. If this is going to drop, any flag would become a sell. So let's see if it's going to drop. Right? If it's going to drop any flag, you wait for a flag now because you don't want it to go back up I don't think it should go back up. We're not expecting an upside anymore, but you never know what it's going to become. It never really broke the top on the bigger picture. I think we're expecting it to break. No, you don't have to break the top, sorry. It's actually coming down. This would have been all the correction. And this is coming back to this level for a flat. So we've had a correction here. We've got correction here. You've got more correction in this. So this running flat makes sense coming back to this level. It could be more complex than that, but right now at least breaking this low is possible. Breaking this low here is possible, which is a good trade. All the way from here to get to the breaking this low is a good trade. Any flag would be a sell. So on the 1 hour, let's see, we have any flag? Nope, nothing. Wait for a flag, go for a sell. Euro. So Euro, we had the sell set up. It did break the top. I'd call it the break even because the first one tag was this one. Pull back, go there, pull back, go here, pull back, go there. You got break even on that trade. Or a small loss at any range in time, right? And then we would go with this. I think we will have to go with this piece because that is the one to break the top. This was coming down. This would not be a sell until you break the low. So the only sell would have been is breaking the low, right? Because I would not sell this until we break the low. We're not sure that is still not consolidated for move upside. We expect it to drop, right? But wait for this to see how high this go back before it drops. Now it's coming down. Any flag is a sell. Take both of them out. Any flag you get here, I think we even have a small flag here in the 1 hour. You can go with a small running flat there, put an entry here. This could possibly be a small running flat. See that there's a flag and there's a consolidation there. But if there's a sell, and this could literally be a sell right now, right? So you can put a sell there, keep a stop above this one, so you can manage. We don't have to break the low because we broke it already, but they will continue here and break this low again once more. Remember, we don't know how low it's going to go, right? So this becomes a sell. It could make a bigger correction, drop again, make another one. Eventually this dies out and we go up. So we start to look for divergence here, right? Start to look for divergence in here. As soon as we start to see that divergence, do we have divergence from the previous two lows? Let's see. That would be from this low here and that one. Well, it's an R. You'll have to pull it in. I don't think we have divergence. This one is a little lower. So within this piece, if you get divergence between this and this when we break the low, that's when we'll start to look for reversals elsewhere. And you would want the reversals to be sharp, not like this, right? Not so slow. So you want this to come here, reverse really fast, then make a correction and then go. Let's see. Pong. Okay, let me see what is that on the 1 hour. I think that was a buy on the 1 hour the same day we closed it. This one for 1, 2, 3. This would have gone back. So if you got tagged there and you close it here, that's the same thing. It didn't go anywhere. Take that out. We're expecting it to go back up to this stop and then drop. So we drop without that, which means we'll have to go with this as all the consolidation, which is really, really small. So there's still a chance for another running flat to form. Right, that is too small. So there's a chance you could form another running flat here and then go back, like drop here again. Let's see what's the bigger picture. Go back on the 4 hour. If you're breaking, we didn't break that top. So the only question is whether we'll consider that. No, I don't think we'll stay with this. I think this would be part of the down move since it's just a deeper pullback because we didn't break the top. It will break the low because you're already at the low. It could end up being a bigger consolidation here. I think we could expect this to come here and go back up there. We might end up with a consolidation like this. There's a chance we could get a bigger consolidation there. But Pong, as we said, we are expecting Pong to come and break this low. So Pong going down is not a surprise. It's just that where it would go down from because we wanted to break this low in the bigger picture, right? This is it. The bigger picture is this one, this running flat. It's a running flat. I didn't think we break that up. So this should eventually come break the low, and then we'll start to look at the upside. So once this break the low, that might be the final one that needs to break the low because Euro has broken the low already. Aussie, New Zealander have already made an impulse and correcting downwards. So Aussie and New Zealand are in correction for upside. This one just needs to break the low to start the first impulse to the upside in the daily structure. Let's see if we have a sell setup here. Go back to the 1 hour. Yep, we do. So you're getting some consolidation here, which means you do have a sell setup, and you could start by putting an entry just under the low here. Did we break that top? I think we did. Yeah, we did break the top. So the entry could go here. If it's making some kind of a bigger running flat, right? Something like this to go back there. Try to close it there. But if it drops through, you take it. If you want to be on the safer side, you can probably do this. But once you break the top, right, it is good. You can put the entry here. Just don't be tagged and stay. If they're consolidating in the middle, it will tag and stay here for a while. It wouldn't reverse immediately. It might just tag you and start to do this. You close the trade because this would be part of the flat. We'll go break the top and then we'll come back. All right. But if it is dropping now, you want the trade. Check it under 15C. The 15 looks good. I think this is a good consolidation of its own. All right, so that's a good one. So you can make 1, 2, 3. And this is coming down. If this is a consolidation, it will probably do this. If you notice this is coming down slow here, take off this because you'll make another consolidation here, go back up, and then drop. So if this doesn't drop immediately, but within the hour or the next hour, then if you start to see more consolidation in the middle here, take it off. Wait for it to go back up, put an entry under the low, wait for it to go back up, and then sell from the top. So this would be a sell setup. Aussie. Okay, so Aussie did turn out to be a big flat for the downside. I think we traded that in one of the news, traded that possibility. And we're definitely looking to break the low again. So we will go with this running flat. This one here, the one we draw eventually. I think we're going to go with that. So the next move now should be coming and breaking this low. It's going down pretty sharp. All you have to do is wait for the setups. Let's see if we have anything here. There was a flat here. You're kind of making one here now. Wait for it to form, and then we look for the downside. You're just waiting for a consolidation. This is too sharp by itself, and it looks like they're still going to probably do this and make some more consolidation here before it goes. Wait for that, get it trade, look for a sell setup. This was a sell setup here. So if you took that, you actually get this trade. This would have been a tag here, go back up, come down, close, re-enter. Wait for the flag now and look for a sell. If you want to put a sell setup here, sorry. If you want to put a sell setup here, it's okay. Let's assume that's all the correction and it drops. I don't think it will drop, but nothing will go wrong with this, right? You wouldn't be tagged until it's dropped. So I'll put it as a sell setup. You can put the sell entry if you want, right? It wouldn't make a difference. We did break the low. We'll probably go with this as well. This running flat turned out to be that one. This here was a sell, and you probably would have closed and re-enter here. You guys would have taken this one, absolutely taken this one. Right. That trade would have closed somewhere here. And you probably wait for another one here. Wait for another one here, and then look for the next sell down. Similar to one of these. You could put the entry on here, but we'll put the sell setup. I don't know if this is going to be a small one. I don't think it will be. I think we'll get a similar one to that. So we'll put it as a sell. On the 15 minutes, you might get buy setups, but I don't think it's worth risking buying that on the 15 because there's a good chance it might not go far. Right? This might just go there and start coming back down. So until you get a 1 hour flag, a solid 1 hour flag, there wouldn't be worth taking the chance. This would be worth taking the chance if we were coming from a low. Right? If we had broken the low and then we were going up, that 15-minute trade would definitely be a buy. But in the middle of this whole thing, I don't think it's worth to buy. Yen, perfect trades. You just have to take them one after the other, right? This you couldn't get anything better than that, right? And we were expecting it to come here, right? This was pretty clear. We're expecting it to go there, and then from there we're expecting it to go down, right? We're expecting it to go there. And from there, the downside. Let's see if we're going to break the top. I don't think they should break the top because we're looking at this as the possible flat, right? Or structurally making a possible flat. If we break that top, then we will be in a bigger flat here, which means this would be 1, 2, 3, go make a new high and then drop. So we're looking at this as the possible high, which means this is just a correction. And that means at any point in time here, it can start to drop. So the buy was good. Now we start to look for the sell. Any one of these buys were good. Do we have another buy setup? Yep. You can go with a buy setup here too. This is a possible buy setup, short term. You can even make an argument for running flat here. So there's one more up we can buy, but you have to be careful with this, right? I would not sell this one as yet because it's not a sharp drop. What I'll be looking for the sell is any sharp drop with a flag, right? If it's coming down slow, we know the rules, right? If it comes down slow, let it come down, make a flat, and then we go for the trade. So right now, what it's doing is coming down slow if that's the case, or it is just one more upside. One more upside with a buy here is a good idea. At least one more impulse. And then we'll see what happens there. So this would be a buy. Swiss. Yeah, that's a lot of movement for 3 days that I wasn't here. So you guys should have got some really good trade. This was a buy, that was a buy. There's a series of buy here that still happened. Take them all out. Right? You would have closed those buys. We did those days and still be in buys going up. And this could go back and retest the top. We made an assumption that this could be 1. So 1, 2, 3, and this can go right back up. Let's see. If it's going higher, go back to the 1 hour. It could also be part of a bigger running flat, right? That is a possibility. We're not excluding it yet. We'll just keep it open until it turns. Well, it's already a buy setup if you want. We've got some big flats here, right? So this by itself is a sharp pullback, which means I would be careful of this, pulling back here and then go, making one of these big flats. You notice all the flats they make are pretty big. They made a small one here, they made a big one, they made a small one here, they made a small one here, big one. Oh, there's one small one here. So I'm expecting a big one. If this is a small one, then it's going to break the top, come back for a bigger one. So at some point, sorry, what the hell was that now? At some point, you're going to get a bigger correction. So I'll be careful of buying this until we get the bigger correction, right? So wait for a buy setup. This will be waiting for a buy setup. CAD didn't break down. It actually went back up, which puts us in, let's see. So if this is not it, then that is all the correction. Can we go with this is all the correction? Or an expanding flat? I'll probably say we go with an expanding flat. I still don't like this for all the corrections. So maybe somewhere there, I'll leave this here for a possible expanding flat. Let's see. Let's go back to the bigger picture. So the question is, can it possibly still go up with 1, making this 2, making a 3 here, break that top and still come back here? We did get 1, 2, 3 in that impulse. So it's possible we can still go break the top and then come back down, which would make this all the correction. Can we look at a 1, 2? No other way to look at that. I don't see any other way. We just have to go with that as all the correction for now. And wait for a flag here. Let's see in the 1 hour. You're getting a correction here, actually. You had one here. Perfect. Had a smaller one here. You're getting a smaller version here. This didn't break the low, so be careful. Which means this can go here, come back, break the low, and then go. I think better thing would be waiting for it. If you take it, keep a stop under this low. Keep a bigger stop here. Here or here. Not because you're going to live with that stop. You'll never let it take you out, but you don't want it to come. If you put a stop here, the chances are it can take you out here and then go back. And it could be quick. See this fast movement down, fast movement up. Fast movement down, fast movement up. You might not get a chance to get the break even out of it. So wait for that. If you're putting the entry now, I would say wait for a pullback first. But if you put the entry in case of a contracting flat, Right, that is, that could be a contracting flat. All contracting flats can be running flats or expanding flats in the future. If you put an entry there, keep a stop. I would even put it here. Double the risk, keep a stop there so that if it tags you and pull back here and then go, you wouldn't be out of the trade. See on the 15. And the 15, it definitely looks like it could come down more. I don't think it's contracting that. I think this definitely looks like it's going to drop one more here first before it goes, making a bigger flat. Because we're at the top here. We're very much at the top. But we don't have that impulse down. I think we can run with this as a running flat here. So you've got a running flat, you've got a sharp move up, you've got a sharp move up, you've got a running flat here, you've got a sharp move up, you're making a flat now. Let it drop here and then go back. You can put that entry. But you have to be cautious, which means I'll keep my stuff under here. Because this is the impulse, right? This would, sorry. This would be the impulse. If this is a running flat within the impulse, within that up move, right? That means this would be the move after this flat. So this is it. If you're making a bigger one here, this is the impulse. So that's where you should keep it. This would be a buy and euro yen. Okay, euro yen was the buy here in this flag. We should have put it lower. I think we kept it there when we were trading the news. But once it makes the flag, you would have put it here. The news, we had to move it higher. You guys understand what I'm saying? So now we look for this. Take this out. There was another buy here. I think there's a big drop, pull back. We're in a big consolidation or something. Let's see where we're on the 1 hour. Yeah, it seems like we're going to come back down. Or we might be making another big consolidation here, pretty similar to this. So I can see this coming back here, maybe then going out of this structure. Let's see in the 1 hour what it looks like. Okay, you have 1, 2, 3 down. You have 1, 2, 3 up. It's a flag forming here for now, but I don't think, because of the way this is looking so sharp, the chances are this could be a bigger flat forming here. So if this drops anywhere, give you a flag here, go for the sell. Right, you need the flag first. For now, we can put an entry order for the buy, which means if this is the takeoff, this is a flag. Right, this is a flag for a takeoff as it stands. But if this is the top and it starts to drop, it could come here. You can't sell here unless you get a flag. So only if you give us a flag like this here, which means it drop, it makes a sideways there, give us that flag, then we can sell. So for now, we put the buy, but with the anticipation that we can get this sell as well. So we're going to put that as both sides. Carry it. The buy was good. You probably would have closed and re-enter here. It's a series of closing and re-enter because it's not really good. It's really slow. Unless when it goes slow like that, you have to live through one of them, right? We have the rules for that, what you do. This was the good buy. So now we'll take this out and let's see where we are. Breaking that top. I still think they're going to go break the top, right? Because this looks like almost a perfect flat. Now, the only way that is not a perfect flat is if you get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which means it has to come and break this top still, and then come back here and then go. So we're looking at a possible expansion, right? Because we expand. This was the first impulse down. You got a correction. We broke the top. We broke the low. That by itself is an expanding flat. But if you go and you go back here and you break the top again and you break the low again, you can look at a possibility, what you would call an expanding triangle, right? I wouldn't say an expanding triangle. I'd probably call it an expanding flat cell, but only in that case, it would be W, X, Y, X, Z, right? Now you can call it a triangle because basically that is what it is. It's looking like a triangle. If you draw these two together, they will merge in some place and these are going to keep expanding. So basically it looks like a triangular pattern. Any one is good. Like I always said, the name is irrelevant. What you want to call it is up to you. The importance is, do you understand the pattern? Do you understand what this pattern could possibly do? I still think there's a chance we get to break that up as of now, because I don't see what's the next possible pattern that could form without that. It could get more complex. This could still be a 1, 2, 3 within that structure, 1, 2, 3. and then go back up for another 1, 2, 3 like this, which we have seen 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then a sharp move and then go. But that's a far stretch. Let's not go with that as yet. Let's go with a simple one of going up to the top. So what you're going to do here is wait, probably either for a bigger correction in this and then the buy, or if this drops farther, I will let it drop much more than that, make a flag, and then we'll consider the sell. The sell would still be a short-term sell. But as of now, we're waiting for a buy setup. Do we have a flag in here, a flat in there that we can work with any sharp move? I would possibly put an entry order right here, right now. And the reason is there are a lot of sharp moves. So with any number of them, you can look for a running flat. You could make an argument for a running flat. You could use this one and make an argument for a running flat. You could use this one and make an argument for a running flat. So there are 3 possibilities of a running flat there. And all 3 are good. All 3 of them are good, regardless of how you look at the chart. So the entry order for the buy should stay there. And then we will wait to see how the structure develops to change that or not. New Zealand yen. Yeah, the sell would have been a break even. Well, you would have closed this definitely. You probably would have had a second sell while I was not here, which was this one. And that would have given you this structure, right? 1, 2, 3 within this one, and now you're in this structure here. So take this out. Now you're in that structure. You have 1, 2. This is the bigger correction. You're going for 3, which I think in the short term, this is a pullback, so this would probably be a pullback. Go there, make that one, and then we're expecting it to come down more. Let's see in the 4 or what it looks like. Yep, come down first, right? So we're gonna keep this structure here just to show you guys what we were thinking. All right, this one we put when this was started to come down. This is the possibility of how this could develop. So all I'm gonna do now is move this slowly here. Right, we're not changing anything. We're just moving them slowly to fit how the chart is, consolidated. So we've got this move down. I'm looking at this as a possible 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and then up there. After which I think we have to come back and then go. Right, that's because there's a bigger move here, right? There's this down one here. So we're just completing this flat here now. There is a slight move to the upside. It has to go break this stop. So how much pips is that? Let's see if it's worth taking. Just about 40 pips. Yeah, why not? 40 pips is a trade, right? Especially depending on where you get it from too. So if this works its way down much more like this, see, this one actually came down pretty deep. This came down pretty deep. Would we take that as a running flat because you have a consolidation in here as well? So if this comes down much more and we can get an entry here with a stop here for breaking this stop, I think that's a good trade. All right, we'll take this and then go for the downside. But by all means, the downside is the better trade, which means coming to this one at the bottom here would be the better trade. All right, so let's see if we get that. Short term, it's the buy if you get it. So I'll put it as an extreme buy. That's the extreme buy right there. The extreme sell would be the orange, yes. That's the extreme buy. So it's an extreme buy. You can wait for that setup to happen. And then we'll go for the sell. I don't think these were trades. These were just probably showing us tops and bottoms because they're at the top and bottom of this. So you wanted it to break this top, which it did. And what happens after it should go down, I think. Let's see with the bigger picture. Well, we can still go down. We had a similar move here, right? With this drop here, and you kind of pull back there and then drop, right? So I think this would more of a correction. You can make an argument for that, especially if it goes like this, and you can probably come back here. Let's wait and see, right? After which we go back up. So do we have a sell setup? Not as yet. We definitely don't have a buy setup, but we don't have a sell setup as yet too. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually come here and go back up and then drop. No need for that. This is enough of a correction. So if they want to, if it's going to drop now, it's okay. Wait for the trade. You don't have a trade. Wait for a flag on the way down and take the trade. So we'll wait for a sell setup here. Swiss yen. Okay, this never broke, so they went back. Where are we? We still have this sharp one. I don't know. Can we go with this as the contracting flat? Maybe that'll be a contracting flat there. Let's see the bigger picture. Even if you go with this as the contracting flat, I still don't like this as all the correction. That's the problem. So buying at the top there would be a problem. I'll just ignore the buy at the top there. Let this one go. You don't have to trade this even. The only time we trade this is if we get a sell setup. So I'm going to pull this like this. And only if we get a good sell setup, then I'll take the trade. There's possibly a buy setup here now. Buying into that top, I probably wouldn't do it. Take any other trades, not this one. So we're going to skip this. Euros. Yep, this turned out to be what we think it is. And you're coming down. This would have been a sell here if anybody's trading it. It's already gone. I don't know if anybody's in the trade. An expanding triangular looking pattern here. See that? Kind of 1, 2, 3. You got to go. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just a flat, maybe not a triangle, just maybe a flat. So depending on how you look at it, looks like a triangular pattern, might be an expanding flat. We have a flag here as well. Let's see. Yeah, we had a flag here, so it's a buy. It's an active buy. The trade is an active buy right here. Take it here. You have to take it where it is, right? Not where it's not. And that's an active buy way back to the bottom.
Sell.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I probably took 3 days off. It's too much, right? An active sell. I should rest less. Good. Sorry. That's an active sell. Thank you. So good trade. I like it. You already have a bigger correction here. That's a nice small flag, and that is going. That should continue to go, and then we'll see where that takes us. The bigger picture is downside too, right? The bigger picture is coming to break this low, which is a good trade all the way to the bottom here. That's the minimum, breaking this low. Yeah. And let's see the bigger picture. Oh, the bigger picture is much further down. That's this low. They're already aiming towards that low, but not in a straight line, right? But the good trade is take this one to come and break this low. That's a good trade there already. And the 1 hour, that'll be how much pips? A good risk to reward trade, put it that way, because if you take the trade here and you put a stop here, you're going for this one, which by itself is a good risk to reward. And you can, if you can move your stops and take more trades on the way down. Euro New Zealand, the buy was perfect. I think that's over. Let's take this out and see. We're getting a bigger flat. I would assume this is a bigger running flat here. So there's a possible next buy coming up. We don't have a sell in that as yet. If it is going to be a sell, if this is going to be a sell, you want a flag somewhere here. This has to stop, make a flag, and then go. All right, let's just assume for a second that's all the correction is going to drop 1 more. We're expecting them to break this low, right? If that happens. I still think it's a buy. I don't see the sell setup. So we'll put a buy here. We'll put a buy, assuming it's a running flat. I would go to buy and a running flat, so that's Euro New Zealand buy. The first buy was good, the second one looks good too. So this first buy was good, the second one should be okay. I'm going with a running flat for now. And I'll only change that. I'll only change the running flat if somewhere under here you get a flag. Then that will change. Now, can we get the trade from a point here going up? Absolutely. Let it break the low or not break the low. Turn, give you this a running flat. It doesn't have to break the low. Turn, give us a flag. We'll take the trade. So we'll go with a buy setup here. Put it here for now. Euro Swiss. Sell setup. It's going down. You have a sell already. This is really sharp. I think we had a running flat there when I was leaving. We were looking at that running flat for a buy. That running flat for a buy there. Let me see in the 1 hour. What's the 4 hour structure? Okay, you can take that trade, but you'll have to take it with a lot of caution. You have a lot of divergence here. You might break the low, but I don't see if this is all the correction. It's relatively sharp. It's not super sharp, but it's relatively sharp. You do have two corrections. You have a correction here and you have a correction here. You have a flag there, you have another flag here, and you're at the low. It's a sell setup. I really don't like it too much. And we didn't break that top. So I'll pull this. Here's where this trade would make more interest for me. If this actually goes back up, I'm not interested in the contracted flat. If this actually goes back up, make a running or expanding flat, and then start to drop. That's a better trade. For now, leave it, even though it is a sell setup. I'll probably stay away from that. EuroCAD. Okay, we've got a series of sharp moves here coming down, and then we'll expect to go back up, right? We're in this sharp move. We made this, we made that. We expect this to come back down similar to this, which is what it's doing. See all those sharp moves, sharp moves. So we're getting a similar one, which is the running flat. This one or that one. You can go with a smaller running flat here as well. I think that's an option. This has some correction here. It had some correction here. So you can go with this being the bigger running flat. You got a flag there, you're getting a flag here. It has to break this low and then go back up. Not a trade I'll go with. There's a sell setup there, but there is no big downside picture for it. Right? Because I don't think this is the impulse didn't break the top and it's finishing the move. So that's still part of the correction. Which means once this dropped to anywhere here, maybe even breaking this one, it could go back up. You can consider the sell. If it's going to break the low, it's worth it. Right? If we're going to break that low, then the sell is a good idea. Let's see. Take it to worst case is you go for break even. Think you can manage your way out for break. Keep a stop above here. Keep a stop above here. So that if it tags, chances can pull back and then drop. So probably you have to be very, very careful there. Put it as an aggressive sell. Aggressive sell, sorry. Aggressive sell would be the orange. So you manage it at the 15. Euro pound. We did break the top, so let's see what we have now. Take that. This is only valid to this now. To there, right? We did break the top. We can pull a line like this. And the question is, do I think that is an impulse to the upside or is that a correction for downside? I'll go with correction for downside. Right? Although it's bigger, it's breaking out of this structure. It doesn't really mean anything. Right? It just means that it's getting a bigger correction. So I'll go with this correcting upwards for down move. So let's go back to the 1 hour. And let's see what we have. A move up. Maybe we would even start it from this point. No, this is lower. So we have to start from here. Up move, correction. Up move, we got a lot of this. Probably this might be the expanding flat we're looking at. You get a sell set up here, go with it. Back to this level and maybe break out. So let's go here. We have divergence at the top. Not in this one here, not in that one, but in general, I think we do. Let's see if we have the divergence to confirm more downside. Yeah, we do. So that's a helping thing. It doesn't mean anything. It's just helping. Put an entry for a sell. Put a stop above there. If it tags you and it stays within that sideways move, I think this is over. I would assume that is over. And we're going on. But if they tag you and go back up like this, take the break even and put it lower. It still could drop. So the sell is a good idea. Let's see if it goes. Put it as a sell. CAD. I think we're getting a sell set up here. Go back on the 1 hour. Put it under the low. There's a lot of sharp moves in it. Go it under the low. That's a safe point. If we break that low, then we'll have to decide what the bigger picture is telling us. Because this has a big flat in the middle. If you break that low, we will still go back up. Right? We break the low, come here. We'll still have to go back up with one sharp move for this. We don't have anything to go with here. So there's a good chance we still go back up. Let's see. It's a good sell. Take it. We'll see where it takes us. From New Zealand, let's see what we have. There was a buy, an aggressive buy set up here. Probably closed it somewhere here. Definitely there, there's no chance keeping that one. And we're going down. It's a sell. We expected it to come to that level, which we didn't get. I don't think this sell is going to break the low, because what I think that sell is going to do is be part of this correction. Probably come here and then go back up. So because we're expecting, there was deep pullback here and deep pullback in this one going up. So this deep pullback is anticipated. The question is how deep. Right, we're expecting it to go down and then go up. Question is how deep would it go? And that is what we don't know, right? You can sell here, but you don't know if it's just going to tag you here and go back up, or if it's going to come all the way here then go back up. And that's a risk I don't think we should take. It's not worth the whole deal. Wait for it to finish, and then we will look for the buy setup to come back to this top. So I'll just skip that, wait for it to finish, and then we'll go with the buy. Hung in. Okay, so we expected this to come back here. It actually went up a little, but it's still coming down. So even if you put it like this, there was a flat there to buy. If you bought the flat, right, we had a buy entry here for this flat. You actually got some profit, because it did. You bought this flat there, but it just went up to this level. You have closed there, so that was profit there. Close it, put this here now, and that is still a valid. That's still a valid flat there. Right? So this down move could be 1, 2, coming back here for the 3 instead of like this, coming back here for the 3, then going back up. So let's put it that way. Let's put this one as coming back here. We don't have to break the low because we broke this stop. I think we did. We'll have to check. Or maybe even tagging the low. And I'll just move all of them slowly. Move this back to this level. Move this here. You're just moving them. We're not changing the structure. We're just moving them as the flat gets bigger. So question now, is it still going to go back up? Right? Are we still expecting this? Come here. Go back up there. Come here. Finish this bigger flat. Go back up there and then drop. Right? 2 of them we say we're keeping. So far, both are working exactly the way we expect them to work. Not the way the candle is going, but the direction is correct. So this went a little higher, but it's coming down. So let's see. We have a sell set up. Yep, you can sell to break this low. Well, in reality, we just need to break this low. Right? You know that. We just need to break this low. Yeah, this is the impulse. And this here is a running flat in the middle. So you just need this to come here, and then it's valid to go back up. Question is, do we want that sell? I'll let it go and then wait for the buy. Let that sell go and wait for the buy. It's not worth. You'll have to put an entry here and a stop here. And I don't know if they're going to do some more spikes up and down before it comes down and then go. So probably just wait for the buy setup. The risk to reward on the buy side is higher. So take this out for now. Thomas. That was an aggressive buy, but a very good one. This was just a pullback. If you close, even if you close here, you re-enter here, you close here, re-enter there, you got one good trade actually. There's a good sell here. And probably another sell here. Let's see where we are in the bigger picture. Okay, this didn't go back to the top. So how do we look? Are we still in this downside here going? Can we still look at it like that? Let's wait. It could make another flatter. This is too sharp to be the correction. Right? There's no correction in that, it's too sharp. So even if this comes here, we'll probably end up with another flat or something like that. One more low and then go back up. So this one didn't go, we'll wait on it. I don't see the sell setup that I want there. This is still a correction, right? Nothing has changed this from being the corrections yet. We haven't got back to the top. So I don't see the completion of that pattern. 1, 2, 3, that's the closest. Even if you go with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that is 3 contracting flats. I wouldn't take 3 contracting flats as yet, so we'll wait. Let's wait and see. Let this go, wait for a reversal rather than a sell. Wait for this to stop and go back up. The buy is what we wait for. Pound Swiss. Okay, this would have been a break-even trade. You got about 10 of them there, so take that off. And this one didn't go back up too. So we're trying to get these impulse up before we come down, but it just wouldn't go. You had a sell set up here, that probably would have been a rough one to take, but this one might be a good one to take if you want, because we broke the low already and we're consolidating. So that should be another drop. Take this one. It's a safer trade if it drops. The question is whether we look at this as all the correction. This here. This big flat in the middle is why we didn't look at it as a correction. And I still wouldn't look at it that way yet, because it does have a big flat in the middle. Let's wait and see. Eventually you get this, right? You get another running flat here, then you drop, then eventually you get that one. That's a long drawn out running flat. So take this off. It could be a sell. Let's see the 15, what it looks like. Even if it's a sell, I don't think it's ready to go. You have a flat here, you have a flat here. So you can kind of get an impulse, a flat, an impulse, a flat, and up. This is not much of an impulse. So dropping like that, chances are it could still go back up here and then come down. So selling here isn't a really good idea. Let's wait. Aussie, New Zealand. We're breaking out of that. So this is just, this one would have, you could have got break even on this if you took that trade. I didn't think we took it, but even if we take it, we get break even. So this is another big flat here. And where would that take us? We had one here already. There we would put this one. We're looking at this more like, this here. So I think this is how we had it. So it would be 1, 2, 3 with this one. So it's going to be this. So we had this flat, or here, you can put it like that. You got to move up, you got to flat, you got to move. You're getting a bigger flat and another move up, and you're still within this impulse. Right? We're still within this impulse. There. So let this go back up there. Come back here, break this there. Then you're going to get this one. And now we can go up. I still see this and this. Let's do corrections within impulse, corrections, impulse, deeper correction. Go back for the impulse, come back here and then go. So you might get a buy setup here to break this stop. There is a buy setup to go break this stop. That would be a short trade. And if you get a correction here, it's just to break that up. So you can wait for a flag, take the trade, get in, get out. Wait for a buy setup. Aussie CAD. Okay, if we break down, we're going with one more down. Which one would we put it with? Let's see. It's actually a standing on its own. Right? It's more like these shorter ones. This would be a standalone correction. There is nothing to put it with. This was a running flat here. So this one could probably drop, break the low. We'll still be within this correction. Maybe go back up, drop again. Eventually come here, maybe drop again and then go. This is pretty short. So either we put it with this one, and then go, let's see. For now, let's go retest the low. Go back to the 1 hour. And you're getting some corrections here. Let's assume two things we can assume. This here is an expanding flat, running flat, sorry, and this is going up. That's the first assumption, right? This here is a flag of its own. This is the low, this is going back up. Make a new high. That's one assumption. Second assumption, this here is making a big expanding flat and will drop. So since we don't have anything for this, let's start with that assumption first. What would be the trade setup here? Trade setup will be a buy. Now you do have a buy here. The problem with buying here is that you're still within this range of corrections, right? Even if we think this is a correction of its own, even if we think this here is a correction of its own, and we're right about it, you want to make sure you're out of that range before you take the trade, because this could come here, stop here, and drop, and then we will have this as a correction. So what you want is this to break out of that range, make a flag here, and then we take the trade. If that is not going to happen, put a sell here. So the sell is valid. Nothing is wrong with that sell, and nothing will happen with the sell unless this turns and drop. And if it turns and drop, this is the correction. We're sure about that one. This is the impulse going down, and that's a very good trade. Now, if we're going up totally, you can't buy until, if you take the risk, and this is really risky that it could turn anytime. Now, I do believe it's going up. I'm more convinced we're going up because I'm more convinced this here is the running flat. Structurally, I think this is the better option. We can't buy it until we get a good flag. You have to be on the safe side of the trade. So when we get the flag, that is when we're going to go with the trade. Let's wait. I would put it both ways. We have it both ways there, so it stays both ways. Aussie Swiss. That was a good sell. Even if you got break even, but you should have made some money, but we're getting a sell set up here again, which makes this a sell here. And the chances of that one also dropping. Now be careful of this sell. We could still be in this consolidation. All right, remember we didn't break the top. This one didn't break the top. And that leaves open for this consolidation, which means this could come drop here and go right back up. And we will take all of this as the consolidation. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or this is 1, 2, 3, and then we're dropping. So we go with the sell with caution. I'll put this an aggressive sell. With caution, because we don't know whether we should put this one like this for a contracting flat. That would be a contracting flat. Or this one like this for an expanding flat. Whichever. So I think we take this out. We take this trade. Like this one here, you probably could have taken that one. Also would have been an aggressive sell. And this would be an aggressive sell. If this is going to go back to break the top, great. We'd have to wait for it to go up. Make a flag here above this range. And then look for the buy. And then we will go with this option. So let's wait. A lot of consolidation there, and none of them will actually break this top to confirm that the end of the correction is there. This is the one that was supposed to break the top. Now let's see if this goes break the top. New Zealand CAD. This was easy. You should have been looking for the sell from there when I left you guys, right? Watch this to see if you're getting a sell set up. If you didn't take this one would be one you can take. This one here is definitely a sell. And now we wait for another sell setup. I think we're going to go break the low. And by low, I mean this one here. So any correction here, I think you're starting to correct. Any correction here would be a sell setup. We only have one pullback in that move, so no traders yet. There's just one pullback. There are a lot of series of sharp pullback, but I think that one belongs to this here. So we're waiting. I'll probably put this as a running flat. 1 second, I'll just get it. But this is a running flat. This is the flat. That's the way we see this. This probably form a running flat of its own, something here, and then drop. Wait for the trade setup. We're waiting for a setup. That's good. Let's wait for that. New Zealand Swiss. This was a sell. Should have closed it here. Probably re-enter, close again, re-enter here. And then probably assume that's a contracting flat. So We're waiting for another sell setup. You can put this here. If this is not a contracting flat, but we're making a running flat here, this sell is a good one. I would go with the running flat. Did we break the low? No. So there's more downside because we didn't break the low, right? We're coming to break that low. And it doesn't mean just breaking the low. It means they can go much more. You can get an impulse like this. So that sell is a good idea. I'll stick with that. The first sell was good. The second one was still good. Cat Swiss. It's still a buy. It hasn't really gone anywhere. All you'll have to do is take it out here and put it higher. Still a buy setup. Still forming a correction there. And we'll put an aggressive buy. Natural gas. Up. You can get another buy here if you want. Take it as a very short-term buy. The reason is we're in a big sideways kind of move here, not sure whether this is sharp, so I'm not sure whether this would go very far, but it's a buy setup. You do have some divergence here, so you buy with caution. It'll be an aggressive buy. US oil. We had both ways on both of them, so let's see. When I left, we had both ways. This was the sell we took, which was very good. This was the sell, which was very good. I think at this point, we had both ways, somewhere here, right? So this was a good sell. You would have probably closed it somewhere there. And let's see where we have on the bigger picture. So both sells turned out to be good. Close this one. That was good profit. Take this one out. And now we're getting this. I'll put it like this. We're just starting to make sense that we're still downside, but this could be a running flat. I'll go with a running flat typically. Any flag sell. Wait for a flag. So if you go with a running flat inside of this, any flag here would be a sell. I'll wait for a flag though. If you want to go with an aggressive sell, you'd have to put it under this low. Could this possibly go back up more? It could. We don't have a buy setup. So let's wait. We're looking for a sell setup. Wait for a flag. And let's see. UK oil. This sell would have been a probably break-even trade if it closed somewhere there. Take a small profit out of the trade. It didn't go as far and as fast as we would like it to go. Take that off. This sell was good, so take this off. And now we could make an argument of whether we're doing this. Possible. In the big picture, they can go both ways. Right, it can go both ways in the big picture. We broke this low already. So more consolidation, let's see. Wait for a sell setup though. We don't have a buy setup as yet, so we have to wait for the sell setup. S&P 500. Good. I don't know how many of you took the aggressive sell. We spoke about that when we were in the trading room. I can't remember which one of them we took the aggressive sell would be this one, right? If you took that, you probably would have closed it somewhere here, but you got a more safe to sell that was here. Safe to sell would have been this one. And you probably should be in that trade if you close and re-enter good, but wait for another flag sell. We're coming back to the lows. Coming back to this low, so every sell setup from there coming would be good. Wait for a sell setup. I think this would be the same. If you took that breakout, you got break even. Right, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to take break even. Take break even in that one. Let's see the sell setup in it. I don't know whether we would have taken that sell, but you definitely would have taken this one, right? So that would be very good trading for you guys. Let me see this coming. Very good. Wait for another flag sell. Wait for a flag first. Flag a correction, anything. Wait for that before we go to sell. We don't have buy setups on them. This one was another. This was a buy here. This would have been good profit. That one spiked up really nice. And then you would have got a sell here. So they all broke the line, but remember the line itself is irrelevant, right? Line itself is irrelevant. We'll just put it like that. No, that's okay. Look for sell setups. If we're making a deeper correction, I'll leave the line here. If we're making a deeper correction like this, let's say something like this. All right, this is going to come down here and then go back there and then come here and then go. We'll see that structure eventually. For now, this one is downside because it can also do that. See? So the sell is a good idea. And by the way, the lines are irrelevant to the structure. The lines are just the guidance for us. Because I know this one trader was getting too anxious about the line. So let me warn you, the line is irrelevant. The line has no relevance to what the market is doing. The lines is a guidance to the patterns we're looking at. That's all. Don't put any significant. They're not bouncing off any of your line. They're not breaking any of your line to do something else. The market is doing what it's doing. The line is simply to guide you. Nobody knows your line is there. And people draw lines all kinds of different ways, depending on how your imagination or what method you're using or what strategy you're using, what method of analysis you're using. So do not focus on the line. I've mentioned this about 1,000,000 times. And I still see one of our traders saying, wow, these lines work, right? I'm like, no, the line is irrelevant. I know sometimes you get enthusiastic when the line shows perfect, right? They're coming off the same range within that range, and right? But that has nothing to do with it. See, if you focus on what the chart is doing and not what you think it's doing, you wouldn't lose focus. You would still be focused on what it's actually doing. The minute you start focusing on things that are irrelevant, which sometimes accidentally happens to be the point, right? If you get caught up in that, you will set yourself up for failure. Oh, we broke out of the line. We're going to go up totally. You're not. Nothing in the structure said that as yet. We don't know that. If we get a bigger flat area, yes, we're going up again. For now, we're treating it as going down. DAX. Yep. It didn't go that high, but we can make an argument for a running flat there. Or we're still in the correction, right? Which means this could come back here and still go back up and still make that a flat. So look for sell setups here. Take the sells. We'll definitely be looking for sell setups. Come on. Yeah. Nifty. See, Nifty broke out. You're supposed to move all these cells upwards and be taken out of them. So what is Nifty doing now? All your stops should have been here. On all those buys, your stops should have been here, and you're waiting for a bigger correction to continue up. Could it go back down once more? Well, we were not expecting that to happen, but it could happen. Right? We'll just end up with a much more bigger structure than we think we're making. Could it be a WXYXZ structure in here? I think we just looked at one of them where we think we could get this structure in it, right? The WXYXZ structure that I showed you, one of the yen pairs, right? With this is the impulse, the correction, the impulse, the correction, the impulse, and come back here for the correction. That would be this move down and still go up because this whole structure still looks corrective. That's possible. So take these out now. Those were the buys. You took your profit. Now you're waiting for a sell setup. Wait for a sell setup. I'm going to put this here just to give you guidance because two things. You get a flag, you start selling, and you're going to get a lot of them. See them all the way. See all these flags here. Or it goes back up, come back here, you get a flat here, and you start buying. So wait. Right now, I'm going to put this open, leave it open. Bitcoin, yep, it dropped. Not surprising, which means this is going to break the low. Right, no surprise here. Ethereum, it dropped. So if you were in the Ethereum trade, you're out of it. You didn't lose anything, you're out of it. It's going to drop. Looks like we're going to break the low again. And then we're going to go up. So nothing new. It will probably just come here and then start the upside. OMG also breaking up. No surprise here. This one was pretty flat. All right, this one probably could have gone up like one more, maybe. I think it could. We could have made an argument for one more, but then this is the flat here. So take it like this. Now it's downside. I don't think we're going to go back up. We'll just break the low first. Right? Very likely it's going to break the low first, then it's going to go back up. We'll go with that. Let's see. XRP. This one was definitely a sell. There was no question there. Now the only question is it going to go break the low now, or do we go back up and then come and break the low? The upside is possible. I wouldn't exclude the possibility of going back up and then breaking the low, right? Doing this. Okay. Because of this big flat in here, because of this big flat, I wouldn't be surprised. And that is mean we have to be careful that they can all go back up one more and then come down. So if it goes break the low now, perfect. But just be careful that this is going to drop. This here is going to drop. We want to see if it drops like this and reverse, make a new high, and then come down. Or if it drops to the bottom. Either way, it doesn't matter to us. We're not selling it. We're waiting for the buy, right? We're waiting for this to actually break this low and then reverse, then we start buying. LTC. This could drop right now. This doesn't have any reason to come break the low and then go back up. And that will go for all of them. Most of them had structurally, we were expecting them to go break the low because they're weak. This was a good sell here. This one was absolutely going to go break the low because we never broke this low. So there wasn't much chance here. This is going to go break the low linked. That was a good buy. You would be out of the buy. This one could go back up. Also, we spoke about the structure of this one. It possibly would come here, go back up, complete this flat, and then drop, break the low, and then go back. So two of them has a structure. Two of them has a line up with that structure, which means we'll have to assume that they can all do the same thing. We just don't see it in the other ones yet. There was no question of whether this is going to break the low. The question is how low it's going to go before you get it. So wait, it's dropped, it broke the low, take this off. Now the question is how low would this go before you actually get the turn? We don't have a turn, it's still downside. There's probably, if this was a real spike, then there's probably chances it's going to spike sometime and drop again. This also is breaking the low. And this one also has to go back up, right? This was the sharp move up and we never got it. I don't think that's an AB squeeze. See? So I think this is more of a 1, 2, 3. Maybe not even breaking the low now. Go back up, break the low, and then go. So this is 3 of them that has that structure. And I think that was the last one. We had a few more, but if you guys see anyone else interesting, just let me know and we'll look at it. Okay, it was a long webinar. I had to do a lot of explanation. Glad to be back. Love doing this. Never stop love doing it. This is when I relax. This is not work. This is when you relax, right? So I enjoy it. So I hope you guys are having as much fun as, analyzing the chart, figuring out what it's doing. And so let's go. Do we have any news event today? No news event. So I'll see you guys in the New York session. Trade with care, everybody. Thank you for being here and your patience for staying this long. You guys are very patient. All right. So I'll see all of you later. Right. I'll close the room now for the recording the process. See you later. Don't forget to go like the YouTube videos. Thank you very much. Bye.